Hey, Crypto Media friends, welcome to another Overtime show. We usually call it today's show Way Up Wednesday. Way Up Wednesdays. We're going to talk about 2 or 3 projects today that are really way up in the market, and we're going to talk about why. Again, not for financial advice, but the rationale of what's going on within them that's causing a lot of focus. Because this isn't a focused intention, like the shiniest thing wins in this market, right? And so right now, that's Oni Force and that's Pudgy Penguins. Because they are succeeding at different levels of breaking away from their founders. And we cover a lot of that community takeover here on the show. And, Oni is very close to me, and my heart. I'm doing a lot of these very, bare my soul videos, and I hope you enjoy them. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification. I do these live because this is what's going on. These are the AMAs I'm in all day, chatting on Twitter Spaces. And I'm coming to bring it to you guys in terms of not just the alpha, but the height of information as it's coming to the scene. And so Oni Force, just a beautiful collection by I Am Complex. Small side note on the side here, you'll see Kami, Oni, Bakemono, and Yokai. And I was kind of talking to Spaces today, and I don't know if people have this distinction of there being a delineation of Kami, which, these all sourced from traditional Japanese folklore names that they've kind of converted to this sort of techno world. And so the Kami being the most revered, they are essentially the differentiation between any other thing versus a Kami is essentially, are you worshipped? And so it's funny that we do have Logan Paul and other influencers that are Kami. And Oni, are sort of high-level demons who have great strength and very, very brutal, and they're very, very temperamental. Bakemono that was a new one. I had to research. I didn't know what that one was, but the mono, I think we've been sort of understanding it from a pop culture sort of sense is something that transforms into a deer or something like this, something that can transform into an animal. And then yokais are just young and they're still they're different, but they're still forming their own powers. And it's kind of broken down, accordingly in terms of rarity in this collection. But the collection has been doing very, very, well in terms of selling because of course, their connection to 10KTF, which is doing a mission right now where they're really expanding the role of their crafting. So they're doing what's called level 2. So level 1 was just these cool snapback hats, very fashiony. Level 2 is battle gear, and so you're able to purchase and craft battle gear that matches your Oni, and it will have, when you craft, this very heightened sense of I would say a bit of a gamble, right? Of if you craft it, you could have a rare craft, you could have an uncommon craft, you could have an epic craft. And there was a very nice story a long time, person who's been in 10KTF, one of those flag bearer types. He actually live on his show, because they have a show. This is how big 10KTF is. They have a show that's so focused just on what they're doing. But they did a live reveal of what he got. And, he got this epic flamethrower and was able to sell it right away for a princely sum. And, we kind of do that sort of in that pre-reveal sort of stage. Again, no financial advice, but it's just the rationale of why things are doing well currently, because you're able to craft something and there's strong demand for it because of the points that it gives you in this game that is currently being run by 10KTF. And so you have a significant sales volume to get people prepared for that. And now, that's happened in the past, and that's, it's kicked up the price. But I think what you have at the same time concurrently, tip of the hat to the Oni Force team for coordinating this beautifully, is you have a transition of power, and you have a transition of power into a corporate structure. And I think that is significant because there are a lot of structures of we could, me and you could call me tomorrow and we can mint tomorrow, basically, and that's kind of what a lot of projects did. Just met on Clubhouse, and they this is the Oni Force story, honestly. They met on Clubhouse and they were like, oh yeah, let's make money. This is great. And they just happened to really hit on a fantastic lore structure of Japanese mythology. And then they added, this love of, this type of style of the gorillas. And they found an amazing artist in I Am Complex. That sparked the first side PFP anime-driven. I might say it's actually a second anime project ever, but it's known as like sort of the OG in the space. And so it's just seminal art that has it's just been we're looking at the comments here, but like let's take a look. I like looking at the recently listed because you get a stronger sense of the depth of a collection of people who are paper handing and what's available. And so, creating just iconic art for this space. It really was a special time where we all lost a lot of money on gas. And, allowing, again, an entry point. And I did a video a while back of, another great entry point into this project as they were making the decision to hire somebody to run the project, essentially. And so the team brought in Star-Lord and hired, began to make, significant positive breakthroughs in sort of repairing what had been a very, very tough discord where the owners, they just kind of mismanaged things to a huge degree. And the biggest thing was loss of confidence and majorly loss of trust. And I think that that's massive in this space, right? If you don't trust somebody, you hate them in this space because you're so vulnerable at all times in this space. You're even though we know somebody shouldn't be able to drain our wallets with our wallet address, it happens by connecting to an errant website or a malicious actor. It happens so often. We get those horror stories on Twitter all the time. So when you lose trust in this space, man, it's killer. And so that's why I'm very happy to have you guys. So thank you for, I think I'm almost up to 500 subscribers now. And I know it's been slow going. And I'm not like the biggest, hottest thing because I'm just not as cute as Elio Trades. He's just got those eyes, right? Now he's just got like this crazy beard talking about like the housing market crashing all the time. But, I keep it positive, but I keep it like, fair and try and be as real as I can with this because I'm not about the flip. I'm not about like the thing. I'm trying to find projects that are doing innovative, interesting things that, we as entrepreneurs and artists and collectors and creators can either graft, utilize, or learn from in this space. And I think we're learning a lot in Oni Force right now. And what's great is there's a pattern just ahead of Oni Force in terms of, what it means to try and self-govern to some degree or develop models of governance that are away from the original founders. And Pudgy Penguins is another one that has succeeded. And I think they did theirs about April-ish. You can kind of tell here, like the excitement of like, oh my gosh, we found some, that person is gone now, and we won't fight on anybody, but it's just like, okay, that person's gone, great. And then, okay, here's like, the plan, the vision for the future. Okay, great. Things are going to be great. Because when you have OG projects like Pudgy Penguin, like there's love for these guys. I mean, look at this collection. They're Pudgy and they're penguins. And they have a floor price of 3.2 now from, roughly 0.6, 0.7. But this is, they had a massive fall. And, it's due to that sort of mismanagement and loss of trust in a community. And so, as they're building it back up, getting some vision, these new paradigms of self-governance and the push and the movement to DAOs, is kind of what we hope for in Web3, but sometimes it's hard to get there. And I think that Oni Force has done a great admirable job given the circumstances of understanding what it is that they have, even as founders, what they want to have happen, which is essentially, I think, a takeover of the IP. And so, it's fantastic IP. And if you're watching and you have the means, I highly recommend the Oni Force IP because I can take you through and we can dig and dive into how deep that this thing can get given its ability to scale, given how many people know the culture, how many people know and developed a lot of the lore in the early days, and how addictive it is. Like the idea of nameless really caught on with people, and so outside of the cultural elements, it's a great piece of IP that can now be purchased. So the founders get together and say, okay, look, what's the best scenario for us? We need somebody to run this thing. They're just so hurt. They're so traumatized of being founders in this space, because we talk about it. It's very, very hard to be a founder in this space, just psychologically. And so these are, founders of one of the biggest hits in the space. And a lot of that pressure, just really traumatizes these people. And they just want to find a way to part ways, yet not give up the value that they built. Because they have done some really smart things, including frames, including comic books, that are NFTs that can, create really exciting things within comic book distribution. And really, I think they have an opportunity here to actually disrupt the comic book industry, bizarre as that sounds. Once you get into the project, hit me on the comment section or at Minty Fresh Vibe, and we can talk all day about this stuff, because I do, and I love it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Thank you. And so with Oni Force, they've created a structure for them so that now, if I'm, Fox is no longer gone, they're all bought by Disney. But if I'm Disney and I'm like, oh, this looks cool, I want this to attack a princess, and so we want to put a princess in the middle of all this, and she's going to be attacked, and she's going to have a sister, and her sister is going to have powers that make her disdainful. And so when you have this, this paradigm of like, okay, great, how do we make that deal? Most PFPs right now can't make that deal. They can't make that Hollywood deal unless they really have all the rights into a very simple, well, not simple, but straightforward package in which to purchase. But because when you have like all these contributing people, there's gonna be a lot of claims. I mean, look at the start of every tech startup. I mean, from Facebook to Snapchat, everybody's like, oh, I did the PFP with a little dragon tooth, ghost, and I deserve a third of the company at least. So you get a lot of people who believe that they contributed quite a bit, and maybe they did, and it's tough for those stories to be sorted out, other than the fact that they were part of the founding. And so there's just going to be infighting, a lot of infighting. But this structure allows for a purchase. And so I think to some degree, the community just, really wants founders out, and, we're in and we want control, and these sort of things. It's we've talked about on the show, other projects who actually got it because there was only one founder. They were able to knock that 19-year-old kid out of the founding position and take over. But it's not a happy place for them, in terms of like trying to find their way as a DAO, and without people having had any experience in anything like this. And so it's been a very, very interesting road for Oni, and I think just keeping an eye on where it's going in terms of not the floor price, but in terms of jump in the Discord of where it's going, as well as Pudgy Penguins, where they're going and how they're trying to lead their projects to greener pastures, if you will. And the only green in pastures right now, and it's not bad. It's not bad right now. It's peaking up a little. There's a predominantly red day, right? And so a couple of little peaks and pops have been coming up, especially Ethereum Classic. I mean, come on, guys. Like, it's weird, like this whole idea of miners like revolting against the Ethereum merge, and somehow maybe starting to mine Ethereum Classic, and like these like these weird sort of ideas come about because people have spent a lot of money on their miners, and they've been making a killing on gas fees, and it's a very, very good living if you have a good mining rig set up and you've probably spent a lot of money in that investment. You just kind of want to keep it going, but when there's no more miners and you go into proof of stake, it's hard, and it's just like taking away gas stations, from the living of people who work in the oil industry. Like, no, we're going to do electric cars now, that person who's just dug a well, in their ancestral ground, is just like, oh, I like violated my ancestry just to give you oil to make money, and I've been making money, and now it's gone. And so that's the challenge here, so you're going to see a little speculation and other things, and maybe they will, and I think that that's part of why another one of the big spikes today was in Cosmos Hub. And so it's up to 12, 13. Because I think people are beginning to understand the strength of those validators in mass and in quantity, because that gives the security, ostensibly, sort of theoretically. And so when you have all these miners and all these validators, you have a powerful network. And I think that that's something that, ETH miners, may be hoping for, is something that they can just continue on with, because what a waste. You have one of the world's largest computer networks deteriorated. I don't know. I think there's got to be other things. There are other things that they can mine, and I'm sure they've kind of moved on to them. They're not happy to do, but maybe that does give, I don't think the Dogecoin miner is the same. I think it's a bit more like the Bitcoin miner, but there's other things you can mine, other altcoins you can mine with Ethereum miners. And so, maybe those are going to benefit, and maybe we'll cover that as well. There's a couple of tokens that come to mind. And so, but I want to stay focused on Cosmos Hub, because I don't want these to be like 9 hours long, and have to break these down into little tiny TikToks for you while I'm dancing to them. Trying to get this out, but I want to give you guys the context for what my experience is in this space, and why I've been a fan of Cosmos for a long time, because of the innovation of IBC, which is inter blockchain. Oh my God, interblockchain chain, interchain chain, interoperable, oh my gosh, I'm totally inter-blockchain communication. And so, just the interoperability for me being, this thing called layer 0, which is sort of like a system, Ethereum being a layer 1, Bitcoin being a layer 1. They're just, the actual chains themselves. When there's something under that, sort of a gravitational force that pulls that together. I don't know if that gives a better look at it, but seeing this sort of the cosmos of it all. But when you have a lot of validators within the core ecosystem of the layer 0, you have more security when you have more validators, because that means you have more staking. And so when that level of staking is at such a heavy area, such as what Cosmos has, that they have nearly 2 billion staked, it's going to take double that or so to attack it financially, as we have seen with Terra, which was on the Cosmos chain. And so this chain, the Cosmos ecosystem, kind of learned from this. I think a lot of other layers, like layer zeros, like Dot and Avalanche, are looking to try and pull other projects away from Cosmos at the moment, saying, "Oh, it didn't work, so come to us," and offering them grants. You've lost a lot. Well, we're going to give you money to come here. But it seems like this is one of the reasons I think that Cosmos is making, again, not financial advice, but it's making this move because people are realizing in this ecosystem, you have the ability to leverage your security of all your validators on the layer 0, not even the layer 0. This is the misnomer, is that Cosmos, here it gets weird, guys. But there's the Cosmos ecosystem layer 0. But then there's Cosmos Atom, and it's a layer 1. So it's its own chain, highly validated, over 2 billion staked, and a lot of validators. And so you have this ability to leverage the security onto that chain. And so use that chain to rent out security, in a sense, to offer security to other chains that are smaller, that are susceptible to being attacked. This is a great thing. Again, this is what we learned with this Terra, fiasco. The chain and the ecosystem of the chains and the interoperability make it very strong and make it very resilient. This was a very smart attack, and the people that carried it out knew exactly what they were doing, and they tore it down, absolutely. But then that sort of opened up, you can see the support of other chains within the ecosystem trying to help, stake. I feel like there's a lot of, Akash, especially, they're trying. Everyone really was trying to use their brain power to try and help and figure it out, because it affected them all. And so, an attack on one is an attack on all in this ecosystem, because you're part of, literally an ecosystem. And so, Cosmos is saying, well, yeah, we have all these validators, like we should be leveraging this security against, an attack like that. So again, that allows, the growth of new projects to feel a bit more secure, and you feel a bit more secure in investing in projects, or at least, jumping in, because there's no financial advice over here, but like participating in projects that might be smaller, newer, might be trying something interesting new in DeFi, trying to be the next osmosis. And that's part of one of the reasons why I was thinking about trying to jump out to Medellin, Colombia. I love Colombia because I have many Colombian friends, and it's a beautiful country. And so wanted to maybe check out Cosmoverse in Colombia, because Sunny Arwal, the co-founder of Osmosis Labs, it's funny that he's a co-founder. He should be like, there should be like a co-founder / asterisk when you're like known as the guy or the girl, like the person that's running the thing, because I can't think of anybody else at Osmosis other than Sunny Agarwal, who was very vocal, especially at that time when Terra was being torn down. And it's this is a team. This is a group of people that, for me, I'm a bit hesitant to go, to be honest, because I don't think that this system, or this ecosystem, is like super ready for media at the moment. They do have some really, really interesting picks and shovels, though, let me tell you. And they just completed the first metaverse on the chain. And what's great is there's some people like CryptoCito, go follow him on YouTube, and Stakecito is apparently his homeboy, and they do a really great update on Twitter as to the status of the Cosmos verse. And so follow Stakecito on Twitter, because it was a great TLDR of a video that CryptoCito did that suggested that by 2030 value, the bullish prediction of Atom at 140, not by 2030, but that's the value today, because in 2030, this German firm, financial firm, suggested that it should be about 1,600 in terms of value. From that's 100x or so, from where it is today, 120x ish, and so that's like it's great. And that's the thing, is just like, we all want that tomorrow, but like, it's not hard if you're looking at this system, if you're looking at the resilience of what we've saw through Terra, of looking at, the brain power that's involved in this space, and sort of the dedication of these people to work together and leverage the interoperability, so you don't have to come up and reinvent the wheel every time you create a thing. You can say, oh, you know what, I want my compute from Akash. I want my security, staking from Atom. And so you can leverage the existing structure to build out the vision that makes your thing unique, that makes your thing cool, and that's really supportive. And they have an SDK, meaning just a software development kit, and it seems like a very I don't want to say friendly ecosystem, but like relative, yeah. And so predicting that there's going to be 5,000 Cosmos chains by 2030. There's about 50 now, in the past year, so that's not hard to see. But it really isn't hard to see, these projects like DOT and Cosmos, which we're both big fans of here on the channel because of this idea of layer zero and an ecosystem, creating an ecosystem around it. Because especially with IBC, you have interoperability not just in this ecosystem, you have this interoperability with Ethereum. So their big hot coin, I don't even know if I'll be able to find it, which we'll cover again another time. Evmos is, it's on fire. Evmos is on fire because, that's the thing. I think more people are becoming cognizant of, okay, Cosmos is going to be okay. They're going to recover. They're on road to recovery from the attack on their ecosystem. They're going to come back stronger. And that built in, because Evmos was super hot, right? Geez, what is that? And so, and it's kind of coming back in a big way because it wants to start, where it was essentially in terms of momentum, before the attack and then before. The attack was somewhere around here, right? And so, it kind of continue on with this momentum as an interoperable Ethereum. It's just something that maybe 6-9 months ago, we were all talking as if like, wow, that's like really out there in the future, interoperating. You have to get some sort of like roll up, and then you're gonna have to have a layer 2 and like at least no, you can have a layer 1 chain and they can talk to each other with IBC. And so this being the first of its kind in this ecosystem, which again, if you're a new developer, oh gosh, I really wish I could go on Ethereum. Yeah, you can just start your thing on Cosmos. Here's your compute, here's your security, and oh yeah, here's your access to the Ethereum virtual network. So yeah, here's the interchain security. There's going to be a strong value in its association. That's why they believe, price action wise, again, we're not here to talk about price action, but they believe the value of it because of its idea of growth, because of its ability to secure itself with its existing very large validator chain. And so this just kind of breaks down many of the aspects. IBC is such an important component. Recent advancements have been brought IBC to both Near Protocol, Polkadot, and Composable. Rumored IBC may be added to Ethereum 2.0's roadmap in the future, because why not? I think we all know and understand that Ethereum is sort of the bread and butter of this industry, and it's something that we want to be on because it indicates value, it indicates marketplace, it indicates so many things. Hopefully it's gonna maintain those things after the merge, but having those aspects and then being able to leverage erratics that can do 2 million computations per second. Right now I think Ethereum does 2,000. But being able to do 2 million on a DeFi protocol is going to make your thing way faster, way more advanced. Clearly, when you're working with AI guys, the processing, and so being able to leverage other chains, it's going to be so advantageous for developers in the future. It's like going to GitHub and just like grabbing elements of people that are way smarter than you that have done a lot of work and building off of the shoulders of giants to help rise the space. IBC is pure technology that relies on several unique components enabled by the Cosmos SDK underpinning each Cosmos chain. Every Cosmos chain shares a tenement consensus engine when finality is instant. Provides atom trading to institutions. And so, I just wanted to briefly go over, again, Cosmos is, it's all the way up on Wednesday, and this is all the way up Wednesdays. But hit me up on Minty Fresh Vibes, Minty Fresh Vibe on Twitter. And that's the rationale being, the security, the resolve, I think, of this community. I think that's being seen here, and it's just, you can see it sort of healing itself and its ability to heal itself, and that makes it really strong in my mind in terms of like, wow, this is why I'm thinking about going to Cosmoverse. I don't think I would see this level of camaraderie within the Terra meltdown that I would see on, Ethereum. It would just be like, oh, hey, you're burning. That's cool. Can you stop your transactions I need to clear the pipeway so that I can, mint my meme coin. Get out of the way. So it's very a different culture, and I think the culture within these projects, will filter down into the other things. And so, if there's media projects to be built on a chain, I'm very interested in Cosmos, very interested in Polkadot. Polkadot, I think, is still, a bit of a way out, and Cosmos has been growing leaps and bounds to the point where, Cosmos used to be seen as like this like little tiny chain. I know, it raised up into roughly a top 10 in terms of market cap. Definitely not too far from it now, but it's kind of seen as like this little brother compared to Polkadot. But Polkadot's not even like, I mean, come on. In terms of like where they're at, where a developer can step in and get an actual product and start delivering to a community. I think they're at different stages. Cosmos being the most tested, clearly. If you've had a meltdown, financial crisis, and you feel like, and you survived it, then I think that's a baptism by fire into this space. And so hit the like, subscribe buttons for more baptisms in the Web3 space, and